Welcome to LivingFuelTV. This is KC Craichy. Vegetarianism is super healthy. Well, the short answer is it can be super healthy. A vegetarian has to be well educated on how to properly fuel their body. Recently, Monica and I had dinner with a doctor friend of mine and his wife. Actually, they were both doctors, at a raw food restaurant here in Orlando. And it was beautiful as far as the presentation and the food. It was delicious. It was very enjoyable. But at one point I looked at, after this vast menu, I looked up at the doctor and I said, "Where's the protein?" And he just smiled and said, "Well, there's some protein in this and some protein in that." But the truth is, if you ate the entire menu, you would not get enough protein for a single meal. So there are healthy aspects to eating raw food, but is it healthy in and of itself? Well, not unless you're able to get the protein you require to manage all the requirements of amino acids in your body. So the discussion turned to protein and how a vegetarian can get more protein, and if they're not a strict vegetarian, what they can add to their diet in order to optimize their health. You know, many stories that you've probably heard over the years of pro athletes getting hurt and they're vegetarians, and they took a really long time to heal, and they started back on a meat diet and they healed faster. Those things are true, but vegetarians can accomplish the same thing as long as they're putting back into their diet the things they're missing from the things they're not eating. For instance, vegetarians, as I know them, most of the time would take what would have been a meat and they would replace it with something like a grain. For instance, if you have a grain-based something, say it's quinoa. Quinoa is great, but it still has it's 20% protein versus the 10% protein that you would have in rice or that sort of thing. But it still has a massive carbohydrate blast. So if you're replacing something that is mostly protein with something that's 20% protein and mostly carbs, and then you add to it a lot of other vegetables which are carbs, then you're going to get a tremendous carb imbalance. So the body requires protein. We've gone over the subject many times. In this particular case, I challenged the doctor. I said, because you are a triathlete, doc, and so triathlons are very taxing on the body. It is a superhuman feat, frankly, to do a triathlon, and he's doing it with very low protein. So the challenge was increase your protein to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight per day, which in this case I think was around 150 grams a day. And so the doctor accepted the challenge and did this, and over a 4-week period of time reported back to me that his performance is much better. His recovery is stellar, a big difference. He gained 6 pounds of lean muscle over that period of time. He feels better, he sleeps better, and so on. This is not the first time that I have made this challenge to a vegetarian or even to people who aren't vegetarians who really don't eat much protein. If you will manage your protein and get the right kinds of protein, you will see significant differences. The research would indicate that people with higher protein intakes score better in every clinically measurable way. That would include people even with kidney issues should have more protein than previously taught to them. The Edinburgh Clinic, the top kidney dialysis or kidney clinic in the world, or one of them, they now tell you that you need more protein even if you have kidney problems. So it may be the kinds of protein. Some people can't handle the meats or the heavy meats, and maybe it's just white chicken, or maybe it's a combination of beans and protein powders, or just protein powders and then eat vegetables. There is some way that you can incorporate more protein into your diet. At a minimum, half your weight in grams of protein. Let's say if you weigh 100 pounds, 50 grams of protein a day will be an absolute minimum, and that really would be for a sedentary individual. So there's really no excuse to be sedentary if you can get out and move and exercise. So the challenge that I made to this doctor I had made to previous vegetarians, and the results are almost always the same. They say they feel better, they perform better, they don't feel tired as much, they don't feel fatigued, they recover better. So I challenge you to give it a try and let us know how you do. God bless you and have a great day.